For over a century, the fundamental architecture of the passenger car has been trapped in a rigid, unyielding cage. Every major legacy manufacturer, from Volkswagen to Mercedes-Benz, has relied on a singular, massive piece of high-strength steel to keep their vehicles from collapsing in a side-impact collision. It is called the B-pillar. It is the solid structural beam that separates the front doors from the rear doors. It dictates how you enter the vehicle, how the seats are arranged, and how much space you are allowed to have. It is an engineering crutch that the West accepted as an unbreakable law of physics. But a Chinese engineering powerhouse decided that this century-old law was completely obsolete. Enter Zeekr, the ultra-premium luxury division of the Geely Group. They did not just want to build another electric people carrier. They wanted to completely redefine the geometry of human transport. To do this, they poured nearly £1 billion into the development of the CM architecture. Their primary directive to their engineers was impossibly arrogant. Eliminate the B-pillar entirely, but make the car safer than a German tank. The result of this billion-pound gamble is the Zeekr Mix. It is a vehicle that has been quietly prowling the streets, proving that the established Western automakers are fundamentally lacking in imagination. When the double sliding doors of the Zeekr Mix open, they reveal a cavernous, uninterrupted 1.5-meter wide opening. There is no pillar blocking your path. It looks like a magic trick, a physical impossibility that should fail every crash test on the planet. Today, we are going to dissect the machine that killed the B-pillar and humiliated the European automotive establishment. When European automotive engineers first analyzed the Zeekr Mix, the immediate question was one of survival. How does a massive, heavy electric vehicle with a completely hollow side profile survive a violent side-impact crash? If Volkswagen or Ford attempted to build a van without a B-pillar, it would fold like a piece of cheap paper upon impact. Zeekr did not eliminate the B-pillar. They simply hid it in plain sight, using metallurgical sorcery. The traditional fixed central pillar has been replaced by two colossal, ultra-high-strength steel pillars, concealed entirely within the sliding doors themselves. These hidden structural beams are forged from 2,000 megapascal MPa, hot-stamped steel. To put that catastrophic level of strength into perspective, this is the exact same grade of metallurgy utilized in the construction of deep-sea nuclear submarine pressure hulls. When the sliding doors of the Zeekr Mix close and lock into the chassis, these hidden pillars anchor directly into the reinforced floor pan and the roof rail. They create an impenetrable vault. In official structural testing, the side of the Zeekr Mix can withstand a crushing force of over 20 tons without the cabin compromising. It is an engineering masterpiece. It provides the occupants with the ultimate lounge-like freedom of an open-plan living room, while surrounding them in a metallurgical fortress that makes a traditional Volvo estate look structurally inadequate. One of the most miserable experiences of driving a luxury van or a massive SUV in a historic European city like London, Paris, or Rome is the turning circle. Traditional Western vans are notoriously clumsy. They require endless three-point turns to navigate tight urban streets because their front wheels are restricted by massive internal combustion engines and archaic steering geometries. Zeekr recognized this flaw and decided to break the laws of mechanical suspension. Because the CAM architecture is purely electric and packaging is hyper-optimized, the front wheels of the Zeekr Mix are not restricted by traditional drive shafts or engine blocks. This allowed the Chinese engineers to give the front wheels an absolutely absurd steering angle of over 50 degrees. When you turn the steering wheel to full lock, the front tires pivot so sharply that the car practically rotates on its own axis. Despite being an enormous, spacious luxury vehicle, the Zeekr Mix boasts a turning radius of just 4.95 meters. It is more agile and easier to maneuver through a congested, ancient city center than a compact Volkswagen Polo. It completely eradicates the compromise of buying a large family vehicle. You get the interior space of a commercial van with the surgical agility of a small urban hatchback. It is a physical humiliation for the legacy engineers who have spent decades defending their clumsy, wide-turning luxury barges. Because the B-pillar has been eradicated and the floor is completely, flawlessly flat, the interior of the Zeekr Mix is no longer a car cabin. It is a mobile architectural space. For a century, passengers have been forced to sit in rigid rows, staring at the back of the driver's head. Zeekr has murdered that concept entirely. The front seats of the Zeekr Mix are engineered on an electric rail system that allows them to swivel a full 270 degrees. With the simple press of a button, the driver and the front passenger can turn their seats completely around to face the rear occupants. A hidden modular table rises from the center console, instantly transforming the vehicle into a mobile boardroom, a dining room, or a private lounge. But do not let this luxurious living room aesthetic fool you into thinking this vehicle is sluggish. Hidden beneath the completely flat floor is a highly advanced rear-mounted electric motor that generates a violent 415 brake horsepower, bhp. This heavy, spacious mobile lounge will launch from 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 5.6 seconds. It will absolutely embarrass a traditional hot hatch at a traffic light, all whilst the occupants in the back are comfortably having a face-to-face conversation. It is a terrifying blend of absolute serenity and brutal electric performance. If you want to truly terrify the Western automotive establishment, you look at how the Zeekr Mix handles steering. For over 100 years, the steering wheel has been physically connected to the front wheels via a solid metal steering column. It is a heavy, dangerous mechanical spear pointed directly at the driver's chest in the event of a crash. The CM architecture was designed from the ground up to support true steer-by-wire technology. This means there is absolutely no physical, mechanical connection between the steering wheel in your hands and the tires on the tarmac. It uses the exact same digital, fly-by-wire technology found in modern fighter jets. When you turn the wheel, digital signals are sent to highly precise electric actuators on the front axle. Why is this revolutionary? Because it completely decouples the driver from the mechanics of the car. In the near future, the steering wheel can be electronically folded away into the dashboard when the car enters full autonomous driving mode, granting the driver even more space to swivel their seat and ignore the road entirely. It removes weight, eliminates the danger of the physical steering column, and allows for infinitely variable steering ratios. It makes the hydraulic steering systems of traditional luxury cars feel like antique relics from the Victorian era. The final desperate argument that legacy automakers cling to when defending their diesel and petrol vans is the time it takes to recharge an electric vehicle. Nobody wants to wait 45 minutes at a service station, they say. Zeekr heard this excuse and completely neutralized it. The Zeekr Mix is built upon a bleeding-edge 800-volt high-voltage architecture. It is equipped with advanced battery technology designed specifically to absorb catastrophic amounts of electrical current in record time. When connected to a compatible ultra-fast charger, the Zeekr Mix does not just charge, it violently consumes power. You can pull into a charging station with a nearly depleted battery, plug the vehicle in, and in just 10.5 minutes, the battery will surge from 10% to 80% capacity. 10.5 minutes. That is barely enough time to walk into the service station, order a cup of tea, and walk back out to the car. In the time it takes a traditional driver to queue for a petrol pump and pay at the till, the Zeekr Mix has absorbed hundreds of miles of range. It renders the entire argument against electric vehicle charging speeds completely null and void. Now, here is the most devastating part of the Zeekr Mix story. The ultimate Trojan horse. You might be thinking that this is just a quirky Chinese experiment that will stay in Asia. You would be dead wrong. This vehicle has already infiltrated the United States of America, right under the noses of Ford and General Motors. Alphabet, the parent company of Google, operates Waymo. the leading autonomous robotaxi company in America. When Google needed a bespoke, futuristic, infinitely reliable vehicle to serve as their next-generation driverless taxi on American streets, they did not choose an American manufacturer. They did not choose Tesla. They went to China and partnered with Zeekr. A heavily customized version of the Zeekr Mix is the chosen vehicle for Waymo's autonomous fleet. It was designed in Sweden and engineered in China specifically to conquer the American robotaxi market, while the US government tries to heavily tariff and ban Chinese technology. The largest tech company in America is quietly importing Chinese architecture because it is fundamentally superior to anything built in Detroit. The Trojan Horse has already breached the gates of Silicon Valley. The Zeekr Mix is not just a car, it is a brutal declaration of engineering supremacy. When Volkswagen released the ID. Buzz, their highly anticipated retro electric van, the European press praised it. But when you park the ID. Buzz next to the Zeekr Mix, the German van looks embarrassingly outdated. The Volkswagen still forces you to deal with a massive B-pillar. It still forces you to sit in fixed rows. It takes infinitely longer to charge, and its turning circle is completely archaic by comparison. Zeekr has taken the concept of the family van and transformed it into a 415 brake horsepower, 800-volt mobile lounge that charges in 10 minutes and can hide its own B-pillars. The fact that China engineered this architecture over a year ago, whilst the West is still struggling to modernize their basic electric platforms, should terrify every automotive CEO in Europe. The old guard is moving too slowly, and the traditional way of building a car is officially dead. This is Drive and RPM. If you want to see through the lies of the legacy automotive industry and witness the technology that is actively destroying the old world, hit that subscribe button. The future is here, and it is ruthless. See you in the next video.